What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And it's Fred Lenard, subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. And we are excited to be live in Lexington, Kentucky, enjoying this Kain event. And this is the very first of these interviews that we're going to be hosting during this Kain event. But you all need to do what it is that we do. And that's tag a car guy,
tag a car gal,
and
share. Get this out there. Make sure people hear this and see this because we have some great information. We have some guests we've never had on the show. We have some just great products to talk about throughout this whole event. But we have great people to share what they're talking about. And I'm excited about this. I know Lou is. We've been ready. This is our home state, I should say, right? And our country, of course, USA. Let's go all the way. But no, we're here. We are here in Kentucky, Lexington, at the Kain Workshop 2023. I'm pumped up. Last year we were here as guests. This year we are here hosting this event, man. I'm excited to be. Well, I shouldn't say this event. This whole podcast.
Yeah, hosting the show live.
David is hosting the event. My bad.
He's doing it. He's doing it. He's making sure it's happening. But we got to make sure that we do make it loud and proud who it is that we have inside of the cafe, our mobile cafe today. We have the one, the only Carol Marshall. Sitting right beside her is the one, the only Eric Schlesinger. Let's go. Did we hit it right? Give us some high fives. If we did it all right, we got it over there.
That's right.
Here we go.
Wow.
Now we're ready for the show.
And these two are with ActivEngage, and they're hosting tonight the actual castle party, right?
Yes.
That's so amazing. I can't wait to be there. I think it's going to be a great event. I'm from Kentucky, and just like David, we have driven by it probably thousands of times. My son goes to college right up the street, so I drive by it all the time, but I've never been inside the castle. So I'm super excited about that. That was one of the big things that I thought this event was bringing that is unique that no one else has done so far.
Because it's haunted or something? I mean, you guys keep talking about
it's just, for so long, and I'm just telling you this history of that, for so long it was nothing. It was just a castle that was built.
It's not just a castle that's built in the middle of Tennessee. I mean, like, it's more there's got to be more than that.
Well, it sat empty forever. And then it was no access. So for us, it was kind of just a normal thing to see there. And just was nothing you could do. Recently, they've upgraded, and now they've turned it into a really cool place.
Like a 3D billboard. But most importantly, we're all going to try not to get arrested tonight.
Right.
Yeah, that's what David definitely asked us not to
get arrested. This is what we're talking about, folks. This is the castle. You can see this on your screen.
That's right.
This is the magnificent display that we get the chance when you come into Lexington from the Versailles area. You pass by this thing sitting on a hill, and it is glorious. And tonight, because of these, we are going to have the chance to have a bunch of car guys, car gals, and solutionaries going to the castle. Excited about that. Let's go.
I'm super excited about that too. It's going to be fun. So thank you all for hosting that tonight. While we're here, I wanted to just kind of get into this event. Here at the Kain Workshop, there's a lot of great vendors here. What I love about this is when they're speaking on stage, there is no pitching going on. This is just talking about advancements, ideas, ways to help the dealer get better at what they're doing and help vendors get better at what they're doing. Technology is out there. So this Kain Workshop is phenomenal. I love the way that David runs it like a general. He literally, it's to the T. Like when you're on stage, you have exactly those minutes to talk, and that's it, right? He will literally cut you off, but not because he's trying to be rude. It's because he's trying to actually not be rude to the next speaker, to the people watching, because they got to do things. They got stuff that's on a schedule, so we make sure it gets done. My question for you all is, what brought you and made you all decide the Kain events were to be?
For all those reasons.
Yeah.
David has been doing it a long time.
Yes, he has.
He's a smart guy. Interacting with any of his clients, these are smart operators.
That's right.
And their focus is growing their business to not just survive but thrive, parts, sales, service. And that's where we want to be. We want to be with the smart operators. We want to be with good dealers looking to improve the customer experience and the results that come from that. So it was kind of a no-brainer to come here as well. I'm from Kentucky.
That's right.
Right.
And so when I saw the castle, I was like, hey, that's us.
That's it.
Have you been to the castle?
I've not.
What's the deal with all these Kentuckians that don't go to the castle?
I mean, so I live in Colorado, and it's like one of those things, I think, where the number of people that you meet that live in Denver or in Colorado that don't ski Like it's just like one of those like weird,
I can
like,
imagine,
kind of
yeah.
things, right? I mean, it's like, how do you live there at the base of the Rocky Mountains and not go skiing? It's kind of like driving by this castle. Like I'm excited about this castle.
Right,
This
yeah.
castle. David's got me all nervous about it too. Like I'm curious. Like, is it haunted? Like, why do people not?
You know, it could very well be haunted. We'll find out tonight. You know, we'll listen around and then we'll probably get some content on that. If we see a ghost, man, I tell you, they're probably going to be a unique ghost from Kentucky. I tell you, that's going to be.
So the other thing that we've kind of blended into the event, we've partnered with Kentucky distillers, and there will be bourbon tasting at the castle tonight
Oh,
as well.
Kentucky. It doesn't get
Now
better.
that's something that I have taken advantage of, is all the bourbon tastings throughout the state. We do have a blessing of tons of them to go through and try, and so many different flavors and different years and history and traditions and the way they make it. It's unique in Kentucky.
Yeah.
They have it hands down. They've done a great job with that bourbon trail. So I'm excited about that. Wow, you just added an extra little caveat to that. It's going to be great. Yeah.
Just a little bit more royal.
That's what we do at ActivEngage. We add that little bit of extra.
Oh,
Ooh.
speaking of, love the
Speaking of
segue
that,
there.
I love that.
Tell
That's
us a little bit
perfect
more
segue.
about ActivEngage.
Yeah, I'm going to
What
put
it
your
is that
website
you're
up there.
brewing.
So if people have any idea,
For the
want to go check it out, there it is.
So we started with this idea of this white glove concierge service, and it continues today. Even with all the digital tools, there's nothing that matters more than getting people into the funnel. So we look at our messaging services as top of the funnel to DR, because if someone isn't met when they land on your site, if they're not acknowledged, if they're not really listened to, how in the world do you know what digital tool or asset or how to navigate them through your site? And that's where our well-trained, centrally managed team comes into play. We have over 50 years experience in automotive online conversations just in our training team.
Wow.
We've been around 14, going on 15 years, millions of conversations. We understand from our own technology, because we develop our own software. We know where the customer's been, what they're looking at. We know how to approach that customer. I said earlier, when someone pulls into the dealership lot, you don't have people run out with a credit app. You don't have people run out with a trade form. Let me walk around your car as they're getting out. You know, that's not how you approach it. So we're big believers in technology. We are looking at different ways. Our latest product with our Cox integration has video assist. So once that consumer is down the funnel, and now we're talking about F&I products, if someone in the dealership wants to take over that conversation and get on camera, they can do so. So
Wow.
technology is really important, but again, that human element to help people get acclimated and comfortable, it cannot be overlooked.
Oh,
I agree with you
goodness.
100%. Everything you just said there. Yes, and yes, you know, and I love that you all are being,
Let's go to the castle.
You're right. But you know, I got to say, I love that you're being active
Right?
Yeah.
and engaging in all these types of
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
right?
it's really
Yeah.
interesting how that happened, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, that's what it is that people, that's what they want. You know, they want what they want. And with technology today and the way that other industries are doing things, it's silly for us not to think that we can't do it and our customers wouldn't appreciate that.
Right.
But to your point, it's not everybody's going to do it the same way. And that's the thing. Like, I don't buy the same way that you would buy. You don't buy the same way that I would buy. So I want to buy my way. And you know, with the way things are, I could and I will. So
Yes.
why not? And I'll find somebody that's going to help me. So why not find somebody that's using ActivEngage, right? Being able to translate that to their consumers and help them be able to communicate in a way that makes it easy, engageable, right? And make it active.
Yes.
And I keep going back to those words, but
Bing.
the company's name alone it stands out. It just tells you exactly what you guys are trying to make happen, is making those engagements very active, making people get together, be able to communicate where they want to communicate. I love it.
Right, absolutely.
Speaking of active engagement, we got the live with Drive guy just walked in here.
It's so cool. You see his hair.
Yeah, his
My
hair just
goodness.
made it in. His hair made it in. Steve will be here in a little bit.
But no, this is great. You know, I love that you guys are doing that. You know, so going into the future, where do you see this happen? Like, you see, like, obviously we see more engagement with digital. Where do you see 5 years from today?
I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, I don't think anybody can actually answer it. I mean,
No,
especially-
you know what? I'm not going to disagree with you, brother. I'm not going to disagree with you.
It's like, what part of the world do we want to be in first? You know, it's, you know, there's the big thing, and I think we all knew this, but we really learned it as well going back through the pandemic and through COVID, and that's going back to the aspect that, you know, people buy cars from people.
Yes.
And not technology. And it's really, you know, even with the advent of all the different technologies and everything else that's taken place, and the DR tools and the trade tools and everything, you still need to help guide that customer. They may not want that human experience at the very beginning, They may just want to be able to go through in their own time and
So
figure things out. But ultimately, they're gonna want help. I mean, it's some crazy stats that like 80% of people would like to complete or do some of their paperwork and everything online, but they still want to physically go into that dealership, touch it, breathe it, smell it before they drive away with it.
That's right.
So true, so true. The understanding that in order to stay actively engaged is to get the customer moving in the direction that they want to go in and setting it up as easy as they want it to be. Like you were just saying, a lot of times, yes, we do want that human experience. We want that touch from the human, but we want it set up when we want it.
Right.
Even if we're talking about texting, right?
Yep.
We want to text until it leads to the call, until it leads to the conversation that is physically happening with the people. But we want it when we want it. And everybody's different.
Well, and that's it. I mean, and it's like, we've all become attuned to being able to communicate in the way in which it is that we want to communicate.
That's right.
And on the time frame in which we want to be able to communicate. It's, if you will, all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you see that your daughter, your 13-year-old daughter just sent you a text message overnight saying that, oh, mommy signed me up for volleyball lessons this weekend. It's like, well, okay, great. I guess I got to take you to volleyball. But now I'm getting the communication at the time, place in which it is that I choose to do that. Right. Buying a car should be no different. I mean, we can do this in basically every other place. It's like, well, why shouldn't I be able to do this in the one place where I'm going to spend the most amount of money on the most emotional purchase?
So true.
That as an American, I mean, remember, buying a car is emotional because it's a representation of who it is that we think we are.
Hey, you got facts there. That's truth, and that's not just the engagement. And what I love is what we're talking about is the sale of the car, but I want to take it one step further. Is after the delivery. I think where a lot of all digital, I'm not going to even name the name of those companies. They're still out there. They were bailed out, but they don't get me wrong. Great model. They did something that made us all as dealers look at it like, whoa, hold on. We're missing something here. I need more of that market share, right? And we jumped in there and we did. And we took great advantage of those opportunities. But the problem I think they ran into a lot was after you sold the car, who do they talk to?
Right.
They have to go to a real dealership now to get service. They have to, if they have a problem, warranty issues, guess what? They're going to a dealership. Right. So it made that whole breakdown happen where then all of a sudden we had another opportunity. And I think that's where I think customers realized, well, I like this experience. Actually, I forgot how good it is to actually have put a coin in here, vending machine comes down, right? Once again, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but and I actually have no hate for them. I think it's great that they're there. We needed them there to be able to help us engage better, right? And I think it opened our eyes. But I do think that the next step, the delivery, is where we win. I think after the fact, when we're doing the service, when we're doing the problem calls, when I have an issue with the car or they don't like the way the paint looked or they see a scratch that they didn't see in the picture, they come to us. And I think that's something special that we have, the human interaction. But no doubt we need to have both together, and we need to be able to have those two communications speaking well together too, because I think a lot of times we get lost in the digital communication to what it translates to us when we pick up the phone and call them. We start talking about something else and they're like, hold on, I was talking to this AI and all of a sudden I'm talking to you and you're not talking about what we were talking about. So that has to be smooth there too.
We actually, when we launched with a large client, we set up a way to be able to determine when the folks in the dealership were reading the transcript.
Sure.
And what we found is for those stores that read the transcript, their close rate were almost 40% higher than those that didn't.
I mean, it's a really, I mean, this is how simple it is. True. I mean, but it goes back like 7-8 years ago. We launched with a large client and they saw this and it was a GM and he was like, I'd love to know how many of my staff take the time to click on that button to read the transcript. And then as Carol said, like we actually put it into statistical over about a course of a year. And it was 100%. I mean, for the dealerships that read the transcript 76% of the time or more, their close rate of getting that customer through the process was double. The dealerships that didn't read the transcript.
That's because the thing that salespeople do is they try to rush to a close, and to a fault, and shame on us. We need to get better at that.
Their job.
Lou and I, we train that with our certified solutioners. We're out there training dealerships. We talk about our number one quote. We start everything off was, "You must seek to understand, then to be understood," by Stephen Covey, and that's it right there. You have to understand them because they're not listening to you until you. If you can go through the transcript, know what they really want and how they're reacting and what the issue is or what the problem that we need to solve for them is, then it's so much easier to make that conversation and sound like we didn't just break in a conversation, it kept flowing.
Right.
So
and that's what they want.
And there's two ways of communicating. So in the past, when when we would hire people who came from the hospitality industry, meaning servers, hostess, that type, they did not last because their way of communicating, they're looking at body language. They're very emotional. They gain satisfaction from receiving that back from someone.
Absolutely.
But to sit down at a keyboard and have a chat or a text, it's a different way of understanding and listening and reciprocating.
100%.
So for dealers who are wanting their salespeople to handle these conversations, and some will do it and do a great job, but by and large, these are people who want to be up on their feet. They want to be interacting face to face with people, taking that energy from the other person, and it's not satisfying, and it makes their job so much more difficult to try and have that technical conversation.
I agree.
And Joe, love how you're pointing that out, because the thing is that there is the part where we have the people on both sides of the technology. We have the customer experience and we have the business experience. So many times the business doesn't want to take the technology because of the control that they lose over a conversation or over monitoring it. And then on the other side, the same thing with people itself, right? They don't want to deal with technology too much. It's all preference. But when being able to get in there and sear together the training that a person uses with the technology, making that part of the culture to where they understand how to use this technology to help us make the connection and actually control what we do have control over, our better parts of the conversation. And that's where we want to all get everybody. Hello, Brewing Solutions. Okay. Because that's what we need to do. Train how to use the technology and connect the people in between to make it easier for both ends. Don't be afraid of it.
Well, and it still comes down to, ultimately, the technology is amazing. And our technology has some really creepy pieces to it, if you would call it which is where, like, even going and taking that time to read the transcript. We have this, we call it pre-read, but basically we can actually see consumer keystrokes and we can see what they're typing as they're typing it. And they'll delete it a lot of times and not necessarily, but a lot of that stuff will still end up making it through the train. So you start to get insight into what the consumer themselves are actually thinking.
That is pretty awesome and creepy. Like,
and it's not a little, it's like the castle. Here we are, we're back to the castle. I'm telling you, the castle's haunted. We're gonna find this out.
Hey, no doubt about it. This conversation is something that I think that it's a hot topic right now. And I think that everyone's still, like you said, we can't predict what's going to happen over the next 5 years. What I do believe, and I think is a fact, is that it is going to advance. It is going to become more clear for people to be able to communicate. The language between digital and human is going to get smoother, and I think that the customers are going to want it more. I know my kids want that. The way they communicate is so different than the way we communicate. So we need to get hip with it, or we're going to be out of it, right? So get hip with it. Get with ActivEngage. I got the website right there. Reach out to them if you want to learn more. Go out and learn more about it. Well, we do appreciate you all for coming in here, giving us some of your time. How could everybody get a hold of you two?
That's simple. It's just go to our website and chat in.
You can do that.
You can do that.
I'm Carol at ActivEngage, and he's Eric at ActivEngage.
Well, that's not really hard to forget right there, my friends. We'll make sure that you guys get that out there. And when you guys see this on the replay, make sure you guys share this around. This is really awesome information. This event's going to be great. If you still have time and you're anywhere near, there's still 2 days after today. You can get here tonight and still enjoy the last 2 days. There's so much great information. I'm going to tell you something. And you know what? If you get here tomorrow, you don't have to worry about going to a creepy castle. It's going to be all right.
You get to hear all about the creepy castle.
You get to hear about it, right? So, but no, we were honored and blessed to have you on there. Thank you for helping us kick off the show this time. You both made me laugh a couple of times. I love y'all's sense of humor, and I look forward to getting to know you guys more today, throughout the day, and then tonight at the castle too. So pleasure.
So let's let the entire world know, and our entire audience, that the team over at ActivEngage is 100% CGC approved. That's right. You made it. And in order to cap this off and make sure that we do get this rocking and rolling the right way, we need to make sure that we drop those F-bombs that don't offend the moms. And that's to forgive, focus, and fly. That's right. Keep growing. So let's go ahead and get those out there. Good.
Your hands on your shoulders.
Good morning over there, Ted. How are you? So hands on the shoulders. We're going to wipe off the weight of unforgiveness. We're going to focus, and then we're going to fly. Go ahead and kick some of that music over there, Fred, so we can get some of these tunes out there for our
audience. There it is.
Hearing it out there. So 1, 2, 3.
Forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing. Keep growing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Great times, my friends.
Gals. We have had an incredible time kicking off this Kain event. This is the first show of many, so stay tuned. I am Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
And I'm Frelin Arts, subprime hero.
And you've been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast with the one, the only,
Carol Marshall.
And the one,
the only, Eric Schlesinger. Let's
go.
go.
Much for joining us, everybody. Rock it out. We will see you soon. We are out.
Peace.